What's up, guys? So today we're going to be doing an SPL player ranking in an Excel spreadsheet. So what really gave me the inspiration to do this was watching Hazer's and just how fucking troll Hazer's list was. This is his list right here. So, I won't hate on him too much. This list isn't terrible. There's just a few aspects where he trolled his ass off. For example, even though this is supposed to be like the entire phase one first split of season 9, right? This list reeks of recency bias, and I don't feel like he took into account like the first 2 weeks as much as he should have. So we're gonna instead make the correct list so I don't have to only go off of this pile of garbage here. Okay, let's start. We're gonna start in order. We're gonna go with the solo lane first. And we're going to start at number 8. So who do I think is, or this split was, the worst solo laner? Okay, let's see. Obviously, I don't have this planned out beforehand, so I'm actually going to be thinking during this video and deciding during this video. Let's see. I'd have to say that the worst one for this split is obviously between people like Aquarius, Scary D, and honestly, hot take here, I think SOT had a bad split, and I think the only reason why that's a hot take is because of recently he got back to like where he was. But like the first 2 weeks, SOT was fucking trash. Like go back watch. I'm pretty sure it's like the first whole 2 weeks he was trash. So that's why SOT is in the ranking. But I am going to go off of my own personal bias and opinion slightly. I'm going to try not to do that too much, but I am going to do that a little bit. Yeah, and I'm going to try not to take into account like past seasons as much as possible, but it's going to happen a little bit, right? But I definitely think if I'm trying to be as objective as possible, probably Scary D did the worst, I would say. Probably Scary D, right? So Scary D is the 8th best solo laner of the split. And then it's between SOT and Aquarius for me. The thing is that I really, really think that if Aqua wasn't on the Valkyries, like put Aqua on SOT's team and SOT on Aqua's team, SOT looks way better. Like I think SOT is, I mean SOT, I said SOT, man. I think Aquarius has looked way better. So I'm actually putting SOT. This is going to be like one of the most controversial listings on here. I'm putting SOT as the second last. He did have that one really good pop-off game. And he hasn't looked that bad recently. He's looked decent recently, but nah. I mean, come on, guys. If you've paid attention to Aquarius, Aquarius has actually looked pretty decent, and he's literally on the worst team. Like, objectively the worst team, and he's actually looked pretty decent. I give tons of brownie points to people that can still look decent, despite being on a team that's, like, kind of letting them down, per se, right? So definitely going to actually end up putting Aquarius above SOT. So who's next? Next up, I mean, obviously Haddix, Fine OK, and Nika are the top 3. So next up, it's between Yarkor and Variety, right? I think Variety's looked better than Yarkor. Straight up. Yarkor's slightly been disappointing this split. And I actually have been liking Variety, even though I don't think Variety's been doing amazing. And the Kings had that really bad week. I have to put Variety over Yarkor still. So now it's Fine OK versus Haddix versus Nika. I mean, if we're doing recency bias, even then, okay, I'm just going to put Haddix number 1. Haddix has obviously been the number 1 in my opinion. Like, even putting in the recency bias of the Dragons, and the Dragons haven't beaten the Bolts. I mean, dude, even then I would still put Haddix over Fine OK. Like, literally. But if we're not including recency bias, I think Nika actually has an argument for being over Fine OK as well. Because I think Nika is on. I mean, obviously the Oniwears have looked really good, especially recently, but they still looked kind of rough at the start. And let's be honest, Nika hard carries that team a lot of the time. And that's a lot of brownie points there. Whereas Fine OK and the Dragons are a lot more of a I'm not carrying you on my back because my name's Nika type of situation. So I kind of want to put Fine OK third because he just hasn't done anything spectacular. Whereas doesn't Nika already have 2 pentakills this season? Pretty sure Nika already has like 2 pentakills this season. You have to put him over Fine OK at that point, right? But I do think Fine OK and Nika are really close. So yeah, that's my solo laner list. The objectively correct solo laner list for this split. And if you guys have any disagreements or any opinions, please leave them in the comments, man. I'll only roast you a little bit, I freaking promise. So let's move on to jungle, right? Let's see here. So this one's slightly hard. However, I'm just gonna I said I was gonna do them in order from worst to best, but I'm just gonna straight up do this. Slightly hot take. Lasber's been the best jungler. Slightly hot take, Lasber's been the best jungler. Recency bias might make you want to say Sam or maybe even Kubo. But nah. Nah. Lasbra for sure. But Sam does get a lot of recency bias points because Sam recently has been insane. Like, I would say recently Sam's probably been better than Lasbra, but over the course of this whole split, I still have to give the edge to Lasbra. I guess I'm going to put Sam second, though. Let's go ahead and put Sam second there. Yeah, maybe we'll move back down to the bottom. I'm gonna love doing this. This is gonna be my favorite part of this video, is putting Scream in last place. Scream has been hard trolling. Scream has the most potential on that team, on the Solar Scarabs, and he's just been trolling. I mean, it's really his picks. He's been troll picking, and he hasn't been able to do the things that he normally can do. He's definitely looked good at certain points during the season, but nah, dude, like, Scream, stop trolling. That's all I gotta say is stop trolling. And if you look at Scream's stats, he might get a lot of kills, but he dies just as much. Like, he doesn't. His KDA is shit this season. Like, despite him having. Let me look real quick. I'm gonna see how many kills he has compared to his teammates on his team. Let's see. Scarabs. Okay, so he has the second most, technically the third most kills, but Veronica and Stewart have the same amount. And then it's Scream, and they actually have 9 more kills than he does. So yeah, he has a lot of kills, but he dies just as much. Look, I'll tell you his kills to deaths this split. He is 38 and 62. That is terrible. 62 deaths for his 38 kills. He's a feeder. He's a feeder. He tries to do too much. He tries to be too big of a playmaker, and when it works, he looks like awesome, and that's why everyone thinks Scream has been better than he has been this split. Is because he's a big playmaker, but it usually doesn't work out, especially when he's trolling this season. So I have to put Scream at the bottom. And then I think this is to nobody's surprise that there's no way Kirmi's above anybody else. He's, for an introduction to the SBL, he's been decent. For an introduction to the SBL, he's been decent, right? Hasn't been terrible. I think he's slightly done enough to be over Scream. Let's check. Maybe I'll switch this. Maybe I'll think harder about this. Let's see. Let's look at Kirmi's stats here. So yeah, Kirmi is 39 and 62. He literally has the same amount of deaths as Scream does, but he has 1 more kill. And he has a decent amount less assists, but that's probably because the freaking Scarabs got more kills than the Valkyries did. Let's check their damage. So he did 183,000. And Scream did 220,000. So Scream did a shit ton more damage than Kirmi. Okay. I'll change my mind. Even though Kirmi has 1 more kill than Scream does. I'll change my mind, guys. I will switch them, but let it be known that it is very close and Scream needs to get his act together if he wants to not be last. Okay, so who's up next? We still have Layers, Cuvo, Twig, and Panny. Gets a little tough here. Layers, Twig, Cubo. Layers has looked pretty good this season. Panty's looked decent, but like disappointing because I think Panty was the best jungler last season. Twigs actually looked pretty good in my opinion, man. People like to hate on Twig. I think Twigs looked pretty good. And then Cubo. Cubo's looked really good too, but I think Cubo's getting the, oh, he looked terrible last season and now he looks way better treatment to where like he gets that kind of bias going for him. But if I was buying into that bias, along with all the recent success of the Warriors, I'd definitely be putting Cubo third. I'm just not sure about that in the grand scheme of things. Does he really deserve to be third yet? Uh, Panty's been hard trolling recently. Like, if we're doing recency bias, Panty's definitely next up. And he might just be next up either way. I'm gonna put Panty next up. Panty's next up either way. Dude has disappointed the fuck out of me this split. I'd say earlier on he looked more like himself, but now he's on. Honestly, Panty might be trolling like the second hardest. Like, he might be trolling the most after Scream in the jungle. Let's see. Now we have Layers, Cuvo, and Twig. That's hard. That's hard. This is tough. Oh no, this is tough. Let's look at their stats. Let's look at their stats. I'm gonna have to go to the stats for this one. So, let's see. Cubo's got 54 kills, 50 deaths, 183,000 damage. Layers got 38 kills and 28 deaths. That's a way better KDA for Layers. And honestly, not that lit. Only 30,000 less damage. And the reason why is because the Warriors had more games or longer games and all that. 55 and 52 for Twig. Hmm. Okay. I'm probably, am I? I'm gonna have to put Layers third because his fucking stats are crazy. For being on the fourth best team, he has really good stats. So you have to put Layers. And let's be honest, like, if you pay attention to Layers, maybe this is just the sign of a great player, but I mean, his team can get shit on and his KDAs are always pretty pristine. So, like Layers never like fucking. Actually, no, he does sometimes feed his brains out. I just don't know. That was more of last season. I don't know if he's actually been doing that this season. So yeah, this is probably like the toughest spot I've been in so far, but I am gonna lock in Layers as the third best jungler so far. And between Cubo and Twig, I think it's really tough. Yeah, it's really tough, actually. I'm not gonna give Cubo. I'm not gonna give Cubo enough credit just yet because I need to see more from Cubo. I still need to see more from Cubo. And I do think people hate on Twig. Twig has not been bad at all this season, bro. Like, honestly. I don't remember it, at least. Yeah. And I still just remember games, even recently, where, like, yeah, the Warriors are winning, but I feel like Cubo looked the worst out of all five. Like, I feel like he's the worst on his team still. Potentially. More often than not, at least. I'm not going to say in general he's the worst on his team, but I feel like Cubo, like, when the only Warriors win, it might be because of him the least, maybe. Maybe that's a hot take. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now, though. But let's finally move on to mid. Okay, so let me do something real quick. Let me look at the mid laners. Everyone's probably expecting me to put fucking Pagon number one. I will most likely not be doing that, spoiler alert. Damn, okay, maybe I will be doing that shit. I just looked at his stats. His really good stats. Fuck. Hmm. Maybe I've got to do it, dude. Maybe I've got to put Peg number. Peg's going number one? Let me look at Dardes and Veneno. Damn, Darius has excellent stats. Holy butt cheeks. Damn, mid is stacked. Mid is a stacked role this season. Oh, hell yeah, mid's a stacked role. What the fuck? Damn. Okay. Hmm. That's a hard one. I'm gonna put Peg number one though, but I don't think it's by a lot. I do not think it is by a lot. Like some people might think. I do not think he is by far the best mid laner. 100% not. Because Peg, Big Man Tings, Venenu, and Dardes have had crazy stats this season. Crazy fucking stats. Dude, Paul too. Paul's got crazy stats too. Holy fuck. Fucking goated ass roll. Holy fucking shit. Damn, this is gonna be hard. It's gonna be fucking hard, actually. Holy shit. Damn. I was coming in here thinking I was just gonna. I'm a Big Man Tings type of guy. I was thinking I was gonna be putting Big Man Tings number one. I kind of do just want to put Big Man Tings number one because, let's see. So like I said, the Camelot Kings mid, the Jade Dragons mid, the Olympus Bullets mid, the Oni Warriors mid, the Tartarus Titans mid have all had crazy stats. Which one of those is the worst team? It's Big Man Tings. Big Man Tings is having to carry more than the other people are. His fucking damage is nutty this season. He has the highest out of all those people, I think, right? Okay, no, Vin does. Vin does. This is hard. I just feel like Big Man Tings, like if we're looking at it like this, where we look at it as who's like compared to their teammates and how good they are to their teammates. Yeah, you can say Pagon kind of carries the Dragons a little bit, so you can put Pagon number one, especially because of recently. He's definitely been playing like the number one mid recently, even though I don't think he has all split, especially early on. Um, but then like you look at the other teams, like Dardes isn't the main carry on the Warriors, and Ainu's definitely not the main character or carry on the Bolts. I feel like BMT is the main carry on. Yeah, BMT's BMT's number two because BMT is on the worst out of all these teams and still has crazy stats, and he's the least carry. I feel like he carries harder than Paul too. Honestly. Honestly, Paul's been slightly disappointing this season, even though Paul's obviously been playing goaded. I mean, he was goaded last season and the season before that, but I feel like so far he's not looked as good as he did the other two seasons, which doesn't mean a lot because it's split one, but I mean it's the damn truth. So it's gonna stop him from having a super good ranking on this list. Let's see. Let's go down at the bottom. Let's do something easy here. So let's look at between Benny Q, Shinto, and Baronic. Let me look at Baronic and Benny Q stats really quick. I guess I'll get Shinto's too. I need to do that. Okay. Okay, so that's all I need to know. Literally all I need to know. Definitely Benny Q's last. Not a great KDA, but I mean, obviously he's on the Valkyries. He is the main carry on his team, but Benny's been trolling the hardest in mid. His picks have been terrible. And yeah, I just don't think this is a hot take. I think if you just watch the split, even though Benny is a fantastic player, he's definitely last. And I was wondering how it was going to be between Shinto and Baronic. Don't hate on my boy Baronic. Baronic easily looked better than Shinto this split. Okay, I'm not going to say easily, but in my opinion, Baronic has looked better. He has looked better. His KDA is better. Despite, I'm pretty sure the Leviathans 100%, right? Have won more games than the Scarabs, which usually makes it way easier. Like if you've won more games than another team and more sets than another team, it's easier for you to have a better KDA than your opposition. Baronic has a better KDA than fucking Shinto, dude. He has a better KDA than fucking Shinto. Baronic's positive by 7 whole kills. Shinto's not even positive this split. Just think about it like that. Let's see. Let's look at their damage. Okay. But yeah, I think I still that despite all that, like stats aren't everything, right? Like if I'm just going off of what I've seen, I do think it's really close. The only reason why I'm acting like this is because I know a bunch of people are going to be mad that Baranic's above Shinto. But it is really close between them two. I wouldn't be mad if you switched them, but in my opinion, I'm definitely locked in on Baronic over Shinto. So now let's get to the three hard guys. The three middle people seem to be the hardest for me in these things. Oh, Nanu, Dardes, and fucking Paul, man. Let me see something. Let's see. I'm gonna have to do it. Wait a second. Okay, I have to do it. I have to do it like this. I have to go off of recent events a lot because recency bias isn't all bad because recently is the most accurate portrayal of that person's level of skill. And because they're so close as a whole, I'm gonna be leaning into recency bias here. And if I do that, Vin was freaking trash recently. Actually played like the worst mid laner recently. Then Paul. Then Dardes. If we're going off of the most recent SPL games, I think this would be the order. Therefore, this is the order they get on the list because as a whole, they're all very closely together. So let's move on to support. Hmm. Okay, let's just get the easiest one out of the way for me. I'm gonna do one little quick look at their stats just in case. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, fucking hell no. Yeah, no, 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 no. Inbound. Inbound's terrible. Inbounds looked really bad. Inbounds looked like the second worst player in the league this season. The worst player, you'll see, he's an ADC, but like if we're talking about all of the players, like if we were ranking all the 8th places, he'd be below Benny Q, Kierme, and Scary D. Inbound has not looked good this season. Yeah, he just let me call him out. He's a pro player, so no one's gonna take my opinion seriously. But please, I urge you, my point would be proven if you just watch this man's positioning. His positioning is awful. He does not have pro player level positioning. He's positioning like a fucking Wood 5 player in some of these fucking fights, dude. He feeds his brains out. Then Gamma, because Gamma hasn't looked that good either. But even as a rookie in the SPL, I think he's been slightly better than Inbound, which is just sad for Inbound, bro. That's sad. I, if this is a hot take, I'm sorry. I literally don't even feel like this is a hot take if you paid the fuck attention to the split. Let's see. Who's up next? Oh, actually, no, straight up, fucking Aurora. Fucking Aurora. Aurora's the worst player on his team, right? Right? Let me see something. Yeah, easily. Easily the worst player on his team, yeah. No. Aurora, not a bad player at all. But I feel like he's getting washed over the years. Like, not at a fast rate, but I think, like, go back, like, 2 or 3 years, Aurora's better. Go back one less year, slightly worse. Again, slightly worse. Again, slightly worse. He's getting slightly worse over the years. He's kind of just a Khepri motherfucker right now. Khepri and Yamoja. That's, like, all he's been playing. Not impressed. Not impressed. Okay, let's see here. Who's up next? Probably Genetics for me. Not a bad player. He hasn't been bad. Um, yeah, I just don't think he's been playing amazing. Like he's like right in the middle, man. He's like mediocre as fuck right now in my mind, and that might be slightly a hot take because the Kings are above the Leviathans. Wrong use goaded. I don't give a shit, dude. I don't give a shit. Um, yeah, I think Wrong You probably always been the best player on his team. Maybe you could say Panty Tom at one point looked the best. Maybe you could say Yarkor at one point looked the best. Maybe you could say at one point Shinto looked the best. But I think if you really like generalize it as much as possible, I mean, Wrong You's just goated. Wrong You's the fucking figurehead of that team, dude. So I might be slightly Wrong You biased, but I can't put Wrong You worse than this. I really can't. If the Leviathans start doing better, a lot better, you can guarantee it's going to be because. Well, honestly, you can't even say it's going to be because Wrong You just went sicko mode because he's already been going sicko mode. If the Atlantis Leviathans get their act together, it's because the other ones get their act together. It's because Pain and Tom stops trolling, Shinto stops trolling, Zapman stops feeding. Like, Wrong You's are like still playing out of his mind, in my opinion, even though he picked Jane as support. You know? He actually didn't look that bad on Jane as support, I'm not going to lie. Okay, let's move on. We still have Jake, Neil, and Mike to go over. This one's going to be kind of hard to do. I'm not going to let recency bias overtake. I think if we're looking at the whole split, you have to put Mike third. Because he's only gone sicko mode recently, in my opinion. Beforehand, he's been like, decent. You know, like the first 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like he's just decent. Like, I don't remember him being the reason they were winning games, like, by a lot. Like, I remember it being like Pagon or Sam or Panda Cat going off. It's never really, hasn't really been Mike until recently when he was going ham on the fucking Baron, making himself look like the best Baron player in the world. Okay, now it's between Neil and Jake. I'm definitely gonna put Jake above Neil. I mean, Jake's been fucking sick this season, huh? I don't think it's like super obvious. I definitely think he's not like making super amazing plays that anyone will notice. I think you do have to pay attention to Jake, but I mean, Jake's stats are kind of crazy this season. He has really crazy stats, and I mean, he's been playing support super well, right? Super good setup, super good peel. I feel like a lot of the kills the bolts get are off the back of Jake's ability usage, you feel me? Like more so than any of the other supports in the league right now. So I'm definitely putting Jake number one. Okay. Finally, ADC. Worst player in the league. Shouldn't even be in the league with how he's playing right now, but I don't think he's on LAN. He's on ping, so you're going to have to give him a little bit of a break, is Wowie. Stats-wise, worst player in the league, which usually, you know, oh, someone has to be the worst player in the league, so that's not a big deal. It is by far. For most of the split, Gamma had more kills than him. Or maybe it was more like half. I won't say most. But half of the split, his support had more kills than him. And his KDA is abysmal. Sorry, Wowie. But like just pay attention to Wowie's laning phases. He gets shit on no matter what. Like he does not even look like a pro player until team fight phase. Honestly. Like he literally looks like a fucking bronze player in the lane sometimes. Then again, I'm not an ADC player, so maybe I'm just smoking weed. But that's just what it looks like to me. Okay, who's up next? This is actually hard. Actually, no, it's not hard. Zatman. What the fuck am I talking about? Zatman, not looking good. I don't think, even though Zatman's a 3-time world champion, I don't think he's ever been like one of the top 3 best players on any of those world championships teams. He was always 4th or 5th. Maybe even 5th every time. But, I mean, obviously he's a really great player. He's a genius in comms. He's amazing at macro, but he just takes so many fights that are so dumb to take. And that's just Zatman. Like, you watch his YouTube videos and his stream, he just always does that. He usually refrains from doing it as much in the SPL, but I feel like this split he's doing it just as much as he does in his casual and ranked game. So Definitely trolling. Definitely not looking good this year. This is now where it gets hard. Damn. I'm thinking about Cyclone, Stewart, and Netrioid right now, so you know where my head's at. Because I definitely think Panda, Bear, and Vote are the top three. Hmm. Let me look at stats here. How has he... What the hell? How has he been faring? Let's look at Stewart now. Stewart's kind of balling out, bro. Like Stewart balls the fuck out, bro. Stewart balls the fuck out on that team. Don't sleep on Stu. Let's look at Netry now. I haven't looked at Netry. Ooh. Oh, dude, Netry balls out too. This is hard. Damn. I know a lot of people are a fan of Cyclone Spin, but I really am not. Like, despite the fact that the Titans have had more success than the Scarabs and the Kings, I kind of want to put Cyclone Spin. I mean, stat-wise, he's been worse than Stu and Netry, slightly surprisingly. At least KDA-wise, just KDA department. The other stats, he's probably doing better, but that's because he's also played more games than them, because neither of them made it to the LAN, but... yeah, no, I'm just going to put Cyclone Spin. This is going to be one of the hotter takes, probably. Putting Cyclone Spin that low. Doesn't impress me. I think he's a really good Chernobog player. Might be the best Chernobog player in the world, but... I mean, he's just mediocre, in my mind. And, like, he's on one of the better... He's on the fourth best team, and he's still looks mediocre. That's really bad to be on the fourth best team and look mediocre, whereas you have, like, people like Netry and Stewart who are on, like, the fifth and seventh best team, and they, like, pop the fuck off sometimes. When Stewart's not trolling on, Amazots, at least. Netry made Kleedna ADC look good. Netry made Kleedna ADC look good. I'm definitely gonna have to put Netry over Stewart still. Maybe if you swapped their teams, it would become evident that Stewart's the better player. But I think right now you definitely can't tell that. I think Netry's still looking a decent amount better than Stu. I mean, Netry's obviously the better assassin ADC player. Uh, if you think this is a big hot take to have Netrioid fourth, go look at his Chiron games. Just go back to any game Netry was playing Chiron this split. Look at the way he ults. He's a fucking genius. He's a fucking genius. I don't think he's like been the reason his team lost hardcore this season yet. So, but I mean, far and away the three best ADCs this season have been Panicat, Barret, and Vote. Yeah, this is gonna be slightly hard for me to decide between. Let's see. I'm looking at their stats right now, by the way. Okay, nah. Okay, that's obvious to me. Now let me look at Pandacat. Okay. I think I've got my ranking. Yeah. Okay, so Bear is definitely third. Barret is definitely third. Because stats-wise, he's third. And, I mean, that's, like, if I wasn't going off of stats at all and I'm just going off of what I remember seeing, he would have been third, too. So in both aspects, Barret would have been third to me, despite, you know, having a lot of success on his team. He honestly is the reason his team wins a decent amount, but, I mean, Haddix and Lasbra and Jake do so fucking much for this team. They're the carries. The front line's the carries on this team. It's not the back line. So even though the back line's been playing well this season, it's definitely, you know, they're all three at the top right now. Lasbra, Haddix, and Jake. Pay the fuck attention. They're the carries on this team. They're the reason this team does so well. This one's hard between Vote and Panda. Kind of want to do it, man. I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to do it. It's so hard. I got because everyone's wanting me to put Panda Cat #1 right now. It's pretty obvious that I kind of want to do it to him and put vote #1. Y'all are great. This is not a hot take if you paid attention. Vote and Panda Cat are close. They are close. Vote never carries though, and he never makes super sexy plays. What the fuck did I just do? And recently, Panda's looked better, so we're giving it to Panda. Although I do think they're really close. Please, people stop sleeping on Vote. I think Vote's one of the most slept on players in the league. After Nika, he is easily the best player on that team. He is easily the second best ADC to split. Vote has played awesome, but Panda Cat's just sick nasty. Especially recently, he was a huge reason for the Dragons' recent success. As you can tell from my list, it is of my opinion that the Dragons' backline, they're the opposite of the Bolts. Their backline is what carries them. Panda Cat and Pagan are sick. So now let's add up their points and see what rankings the teams get. So the way it works is just how it looks. So if you're in 8th, you give your point or your team 8 points, and if you have 1 point, you give your team, or if you're in 1st, you give your team 1 point, and you want to have the least amount of points. It's like golf, right? So let's add up the points. We'll do the Leviathans first. So let me do this real quick. Copy. Boop, 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 paste. Should have done this earlier, I guess. Paste. Sorry about this, guys. Paste. Now's your time to be commenting all of your pent-up aggression at how stupid you think I am for ranking people where I ranked them. It's a very good time to be doing that right now. One more. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. What did I do? Copy. Merge cells. Fuck, dude. I am trolling. Paste. Okay, last one. Okay, so let's add on the Leviathan's points first. So 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 4 plus 7 is 29. Probably should not be saying all that out loud. Please don't turn that into a percentage, you fucking... Okay, I know why it's doing that. There. Should stop now. How do I get it to stop, guys? I am trolling. I have it set to number up here. Y'all see this, right? That says number. Fuck off, percentage. I think I have to do that. Pick here, then change it to number, then type it in. Because Excel's retarded like that. Okay, that's exactly what the fuck it was. Excel's just stupid. Are the rest of these number? Okay. I'm gonna have to change all of these to number because this software is trash. So let me do that real quick. Get your comments in. Get your comments in. Okay, let's do the Kings now. Four plus 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 4 is 19. So right now the Kings are in first place. That is going to stop real soon because it's the Dragon's turn. 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 10. Bolts might be there, bro. That's 3 ones they get. 11. Oh. Oh. Oh, Venenu trolled them. Venenu trolled them. Okay, let's see here. The Warriors. 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 14. Scarabs. See if the Scarabs will be worse or better than the Leviathans? Nope. They are definitely worse. 34. Okay, now let's see. The Titans. 7 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6. 26. Finally, we have the Valkyries, who are most definitely last, as they have 3 people in 8th. 37, yep. Only 3 higher than the Scarabs. Scarabs, get your act together. Okay, so 8th, 7th. Who's up next? 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Is that just the standings except the Kings and the Titans are changed around? Yeah. That's just the standings except instead of the Titans being 4th, I have the Kings 4th, which, I mean, come on, the Kings only had that one bad week. The Kings kind of got screwed out of land. I agree with my list so hard. I do think the standings show the best teams right now, except for the Titans and the Kings. I think the Kings did deserve to be 4th instead of the Titans. So, I mean, I completely agree with my list and the way it turned out. That just shows that I'm a genius, right, guys? Anyways, that's going to be the end of the video. Thanks for watching. And remember, please comment, please hate on me, call me every cuss word you want. I really do not care. I'm going to love it. Peace out, guys.